Okay, here we are. This is lesson 9 of drawing the McLaren P1, and off camera today I went ahead and I darkened up quite a bit on the front of the hood and around the air outlets that go up to the windshield, so you can see those a little bit better. And I decided to work on the shadow underneath the front of the car, and that's going to highlight the panel that sits directly under the air inlet. So what this is going to do is going to give me an idea of where the darkest area is underneath the front of the car. So what I'm really doing is separating the inlets from the shadow that's underneath the car. And this is a cast shadow by lights. And I'm just doing this again, regular old series of dots that I do, but they look like lines. And then what I'm going to do after that is come back and go across them at another angle. See, what I'm doing is making a bunch of lines out of a series of dots, and that's how I cover large areas. It seems to be the fastest way and the way that I enjoy the most. And because I'm right-handed, I'm starting at the left-hand side and working across to the right-hand side, and trying to keep my head out of the way of the camera too. Again, because I'm using my right hand, I'm going to have to reach across to the extreme right hand of the picture, which is the left side of the car. So I'm going to try and make sure I don't get my big head in there. Anyway, it's coming along great. I'm really happy with the way this car is coming now. It's really started to blend into something that looks like an automobile. There's a lot of cleanup work to do on it still. In our last go around on this, the final inspection and cure on this, will be going around and making sure that I've done everything correctly and to the extent that I want to. But you can see, if you look at it right now, you can see the lines comprised of dots. And this is, I speeded up 4 times. This is actually almost 24 minutes worth of work done in about 6 minutes. So it looks like I'm just drawing lines, but I'm not. Each one of those times I put the pen down, I make a dot. And that's what covers all this area. I know other people who do stippling that will do patterns and do all kinds of things, but this is the way that seems to make it easiest for me to cover ground quickly. And you can see I'm on about probably I don't know, 60-degree angle or so to the right-hand side. And when I get over to the end there, then I'll come back and I'll go at a different angle, or even random spots coming back, and that will completely cover this car in whatever depth of color that I want. So I can make this by not putting too many dots over the top of these dotted lines. I could make it so it was just a gray, but in this case I'm going to make it very dark because it is a cast shadow and there's a pretty strong light on the car. You can see that from all the highlights, like on the left front fender, on the hood on the left hand side next to the air outlet, and some of the other places on the car. You can see that there are very strong highlights. And what those tell us is that there are bright lights on a car that's got a pretty shiny body. And so I'm trying to make that so it's believable and so that people can see that. And nearly across the car now, getting pretty close. And you saw me just go back there for a second. What I was doing was kind of evening it up so that when I start to do this and come back on it, that it makes it look believable. Yeah, I did do a little bit more on the right front fender too, on the lower edge as well. There's more work to be done on that, but we're going the right way. I want to cover a lot of the body here so that we can see what still needs to be done and how dark it will have to be. But it's going great. This is going to be such a pretty car, I think, when it's done. Such a pretty drawing. It's a pretty car regardless. Okay, here I am, and I'm going back across it with dots going the other direction, going like almost 90 degrees to it. And what that is doing, like I said, is making it much, much darker. And that is going to be the cast shadow that we will leave underneath the car. And that lets me play off that very dark color. Looks like I'm not going to finish all this right now. But it'll let me play off that and put a little bit lighter area on top of it so that it has something to compare it to. Okay, wrapping it up for today. I hope you come back tomorrow. We've got a lot more to do to the body, and this thing is really, really starting to finish up. Thanks. Bye.